This is Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow with another segment of Cooking with Janet. And today I kind of have a mishmash of stuff for you, but it's going to be kind of fun and interesting. And of course I like to keep you moving because I like to keep moving. So I want to direct your attention here to my cutting board first of all, because I've got some interesting foods for you. Some that you probably don't see in your own supermarket, so that's why I want to talk to you about them. These are dragon tongue beans. Now you'll see how that they have the purple, and remember I told you that most of the original vegetables have purple in them. When you cook these oftentimes turn just totally pale yellow like on this side. But they're very good and tasty. They're similar to a string bean. If you pop them open, you can see how pale they are, and they do have these little bean seeds inside. But you just go ahead and eat everything when you cook them or steam them if you have a chance. So it's interesting. I thought I would let you see what those look like. Now this is a bean. This is actually a cranberry bean, and this pod is dry, but it also has some purple on the outside. This you don't eat the pod. You open these and look inside. These are your cranberry beans, and these you may not find in your own supermarket, but it's just interesting to know what's out there and some of the things that we've lost over time. These are delicious in your soups, if that you like to make soups or rice and beans and those kind of things. So I want to put that out for you to see, and you just would cook that like you would a normal bean. And of course the pod on this one gets thrown away. The last thing in this little segment I want to show you, this is a crowder pea. Now again, crowder pea, look again, the purple on the outside. This is actually a legume, which is a complete protein like a lentil, and these are also very good in your soups. And as we get further into fall, I'll be talking more about soups and winter foods and things like that, but I'm kind of trying to help you follow the seasons. Now, the one thing I was putting these things together for you, I was thinking, now why is it that I have access to so many of these original vegetables, original food, and maybe some of you out there either don't or you're starting to be more aware of them? One thing that I realize is that I am working on getting into my core mind patterns, my original mind patterns, and therefore my food that is coming to me has to do with original food, because what is food? That's what you put in your mind. So as I delve deeper into my own original mind patterns, I get original type food. So that's of interest, I thought, and I am fascinated with food, obviously. It's a very creative process, and I love to find new things, and I love to share it with you because I don't like to be dull and boring. I don't like to do the same things over again, and I like to go continually deeper into the God mind itself. Now, the next thing I want to show you, while we're talking, before I get into my veggies, I want to show you these. These are the original pears, believe it or not. Now these, if I cut it open, they're not quite as juicy as what you're going to find. You hear how it's sawing through? It's a little crispier, it's a little drier, but this is your original type of a pear. Most of you in the supermarket are used to the big one, so I wanted you to be able to see that as well. That's kind of an interesting item. Well, the next thing I want to show you, which some of you may have seen, some of you not. This is called okra. Now, okra is often used in gumbos down in the south because it has a mucilaginous property, meaning it can be slimy. I don't know if you can see this or not, but it can be slimy when you open it up, and stringy, and the more it sits, the slimier and stringier it gets. And for that reason, a lot of people do not know how to properly prepare okra. Now, if you can see how the little threads are moving across this mucilaginous properties here, but that's from inside of it. If you get okra that's much bigger than what I'm showing you here, it can get very hard and woody and not tender, and this one's a little bit on the cusp there. Okra actually is a seed pod. It grows up like this in the field with the flower around it, and when the flower falls away, this is a seed pod that you're actually eating. The stem at the top you can eat on the smaller pieces. If you get into a larger piece, not going to happen. You're going to find yourself spitting that out. The way that people in the South prepare okra is usually with cornmeal if they're going to fry it. Now, because I really don't use a lot of cornmeal these days, actually none at all, because of the mold that's out there and not knowing where it comes from, I use my gluten-free crumbs. I'm just going to do a little bit for you so you can kind of see how to prepare it for yourself. And remember, the gluten-free ones that I use are only 14 carbs per quarter cup, and that's 4 tablespoons. So I'm going to pour just a little in here to give you an idea. You can also put in some of your Parmesan Romano if you want, because that is your sheep's milk cheese and helps to spread out the breadcrumbs. But for demonstration purposes today, I'm just going to put this in my bag, shake it up a little bit, and coat it, and that's it. And because of the sticky property, like I told you before, the breadcrumbs readily adhere. And then you just go to your non-stick frying pan, turn it on with a little bit of olive oil, and let that heat. And while that's heating, I'm going to just finish chopping this up and put this in. It's taking me a second longer. Okay, so once I've got this in here and lightly breaded, I just put it into the oil, the hot oil, and let it sit there. And we want to get it really crispy, because otherwise it can wind up slimy. So not everybody likes okra, and I probably couldn't eat it every night myself, but once in a while for a change, it's just something kind of different and fun. And if it's nice and crispy, you know, a different kind of a texture in your mouth, because you know, different people like different textures, and of course, again, that's referring to the different mind patterns that you have. You don't always want to be functioning in the same mind pattern. You want to have some variety and a little bit of spice in life. So my okra goes in, and I'm just going to pour a little bit more oil, because you want to remember that the breadcrumbs are going to soak up the oil. So just spread it out here and let it kind of simmer. Now while that's doing that, I want to show you next corn. Because I told you before that corn has a lot of mold in it, so we really quit eating it for a while, but now we have a good grower and we know where our corn comes from. And we know that it's not full of mold, and we know that it's heirloom seeds, and we know the dirt and the earth where it comes from. We have been eating some of it, and this is organic and heirloom variety. And I want to show you an easy way to fix corn. But first of all, I do want to discuss with you, most of you are familiar with this. This is the corn silk that's comes on your cob like this. I've already peeled it obviously for you, but this is corn silk. Now if you've heard of corn silk tea will actually help break up the gallstones, kidney stones, the calcium deposits that are in your body. If you have your own corn, you can save your own corn silk and steep that and make your own tea. But again, know your source. But I just want to make that clear, because when I make my corn, I don't peel it all away. I let some of it go in and we eat that. So the easiest way that I have found is to take your corn and I just cut it right off the cob like this. Now there are different kinds of corn. Field corn is really a grain, and field corn is raised for animals. It's tough and it is chewy. They make cornmeal, corn flour out of that. This is eating corn, sweet corn. And it is a vegetable and has different properties, believe it or not, than field corn, which is actually considered a grain. So if you want to look that up, it's kind of interesting what you can find out. This is very sweet, and I just cut it off, and when my okra is done, over here, let me just double check and see how it's doing. I am going to show you how to quickly stir fry your corn, and it's easy to make it. It's easy to eat it this way. It's much less messy. There's much less cleanup. So I'm going to let this sit, and then I'm going to go on to my next and last thing, other than to stir fry this, that I think is interesting. So this is a product that I like. This is sheep's milk yogurt. And this you can order online. from www.blacksheepcheese.com. This is organic sheep's milk. They also sell cheeses, and I love all of their products. And the one thing that's really good about ordering from them is that they give you a one-time fee of $25 US regardless of what you order. Now I don't know if this can go out of the country, if this is US only. You would have to find out. So I can order, put it in my refrigerator, because it's yogurt, it will keep for a couple of months or more, and only a $25 fee on the shipping and handling. But with their yogurt, I always get the plain, although they do have flavors. I have found that it has a tendency to be a little thin. And in our household, we like it a little bit thicker. And plus, there are other things that you can do. So what I do is I buy cheesecloth, which you can get at your grocery store. And I put a strainer over a bowl, put that over, and just cut the cheesecloth like that. And then I strain it. Now the way that comes out of it, you can use that in your cooking, you can give it to your animals, you can water your plants with it, don't throw it away. You can drink it yourself. You can mix it in with your green juices, or if you make those kind of things for yourself. I usually put a couple of these containers in at a time. And then I'm going to cover it and let it sit in my refrigerator. And the next time we meet, I am going to take it out and show you some interesting things that you can actually do with the thickened yogurt. Some good healthy snacks that you might not have thought of yourself. And also as a base for sauces, if that you're not eating sour cream or dairy. So that's what I'm going to show you about this for now, but we're going to take a look at it next time we come back together. So let's get back over here and let's check the okra. You can see how it's browning very nicely here. Getting nice and crispy. And that's what you want to have it look like. And you can brown it for as long as you want. You can add more crumbs. You know, there's lots of things you can do, but this just gives you a rough idea to get yourself started. So I'm going to put that on a plate for later. And then I want to just quickly show you how I like to do my corn. Wipe out my frying pan. Okay, now for the corn, I like to do it in butter, because then it's ready to go with a little salt and pepper when you're done. So I'm going to take some of my goat butter. And remember, I buy a case of it at a time. I put it in my freezer, and then I have it handy when I need it. So I just melt the butter, and take my corn, along with some of that cornstalk that some of you may laboriously be spending time to pick away. And all you have to do is just gently toss it with the butter a little bit until your kernels start to become a little translucent. And it just takes sometimes a minute, if that, just enough to warm your kernels so it's still a little crunchy. It's a really nice dish. And it makes it so much easier. And like I said, a little salt and pepper, you're ready to roll. Or sometimes people like it cold in a light corn salad with some kind of, even with the butter on it, you can add a little bit of oil and vinegar and make it into a fresh corn salad, which is really nice. You cut in a little bit of onion, cut a little bit of green pepper if you like, or red peppers, and you're ready to go. See, that's it. Now that's exactly how I would serve it. So it's a really nice summer dish. But please do know your source if you're going to eat corn, because you don't want to be putting mold into your body, because mold and bacteria and parasites, all that is represented what's going into your mind, what's happening in your outer world. And what we're all doing is we're getting rid of the things that are causing us problems that we don't need and that are no longer necessary. So use your judgment, listen to your inner intuition, stay tuned, because I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that yogurt next time. It's going to be kind of interesting for you. This is Janet Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow, expansions.com. I look forward to being in your home, and I thank you for coming into mine.